Welcome back, lucky American coins. The 1980 United States 1-cent coin, commonly known as the Lincoln Penny, is one of the most recognized coins in American history. Millions of people have held this small copper-colored coin in their hands, placed it into jars, found it under furniture, or ignored it as a coin worth only 1 cent. However, among collectors, coin hunters, and error coin enthusiasts, some 1980 pennies can become much more interesting because of mistakes made during the minting process. Every coin has a story. A 1980 Lincoln cent is not just a piece of metal. It represents American manufacturing, history, technology, and the continuation of one of the longest-running coin designs in the United States. For more than a century, the Lincoln cent has remained a favorite collectible because it carries the image of one of America's most respected presidents, Abraham Lincoln. The 1980 Lincoln penny was produced during an important period in U.S. coin history. By this time, the United States Mint had already produced Lincoln cents for over 70 years. The coin continued the famous design introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln cent became the first regular-issue United States coin to feature the portrait of a real person. The obverse, or front side, of the 1980 penny shows a detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above Lincoln's head appears the inscription, "In God We Trust." To the left of the portrait is the word Liberty, and the year 1980 appears on the right side. Depending on where the coin was produced, a small mint mark may appear below the date. The reverse side of the 1980 Lincoln cent displays the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Above the building appears the phrase United States of America. Below the memorial are the words 1 cent and the national motto E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. The Lincoln Memorial reverse design was created by Frank Gasparo and first appeared in 1959. It replaced the earlier wheat stock reverse design that had been used from 1909 through 1958. Because the 1980 penny has the Lincoln Memorial design, collectors often classify it as part of the Lincoln Memorial cent series. The standard 1980 Lincoln cent has a weight of approximately 3.11 grams. Its diameter is about 19 millimeters, and it has a plain edge without ridges. The coin is composed mainly of copper, with a composition of approximately 95% copper and 5% zinc. This composition was used for Lincoln cents until 1982, when the United States Mint changed to a copper-plated zinc composition because the price of copper had increased. The symbol of the coin is the famous Lincoln portrait combined with important American symbols. Abraham Lincoln represents unity, freedom, and the preservation of the United States during one of the nation's most difficult periods. The inscriptions on the coin represent American values, including faith, liberty, and national identity. The 1980 Lincoln cent was produced at multiple United States Mint facilities. Coins without a mint mark were generally produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Coins with a D mint mark were produced at the Denver Mint. Coins with an S mint mark were produced at the San Francisco Mint, although San Francisco mostly produced proof coins during this period. The mint mark is extremely important for collectors because it helps identify where the coin was made. A small letter can sometimes separate an ordinary coin from a collectible variety. Coin collectors carefully examine dates, mint marks, and unusual characteristics because rare combinations can create valuable coins. When people hear the word error coin, they often imagine a simple mistake that instantly creates a fortune. However, not every error coin is rare or valuable. The value depends on how unusual the mistake is, how many examples exist, and how much collectors want that specific error. A 1980 Lincoln cent can have several possible errors. Some errors happen during the preparation of the metal blank, some occur during striking, and others happen because of damaged dies or unusual conditions at the mint. One possible error is a doubled die. A doubled die occurs when the coin die itself receives a doubled image during the manufacturing process. When coins are struck using that damaged die, the doubling appears on every coin produced from that die. Collectors carefully look for doubling on letters, numbers, and design details. A true double die is different from machine doubling. Machine doubling usually creates a flat, shelf-like appearance and is caused by movement during striking. True double dies show separation and stronger doubling characteristics. Professional collectors and grading companies examine these differences carefully. Another possible error is an off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not properly positioned inside the coin press. The design becomes shifted, leaving part of the coin blank without a design. The larger the off-center percentage and the clearer the error, the more interest it may receive from collectors. A broad strike error occurs when the coin is struck without the retaining collar that normally holds the coin in place. The result is a coin that spreads outward and becomes wider than normal. These errors can be visually impressive and are collected by error specialists. A clipped planchet error occurs when the metal sheet used to create coin blanks is cut incorrectly. A section of the coin may appear missing, creating a curved or straight clipped area. The location and size of the clip influence collector value. A die crack error happens when a coin die develops cracks due to heavy use. These cracks can appear as raised lines on the finished coin. Some die cracks are common, while dramatic examples can attract collectors. A filled die error occurs when dirt, grease, or debris fills part of the die. This can cause missing letters, missing numbers, or weak design details. These coins are often called grease errors by collectors. A 1980 penny with a significant and officially recognized error can be worth more than face value. An ordinary circulated 1980 Lincoln cent may only be worth 1 cent to a few cents depending on condition. Uncirculated examples can bring higher prices. Proof versions and unusual varieties may attract collectors. High-grade coins certified by professional grading companies can sometimes sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars if they have a desirable error or exceptional condition. However, claims of a single 1980 penny being worth $173 million are not supported by verified auction records. The world of coin collecting is full of stories about hidden treasures. Many collectors enjoy searching through old jars, bankrolls, and inherited collections hoping to discover a rare mistake. The excitement comes from the possibility that an ordinary-looking coin may have a unique history. A 1980 Lincoln penny may seem common because millions were produced, but every individual coin has its own journey. Some coins stayed protected in collections. Others circulated for decades through American businesses, homes, and communities. The condition of a coin plays one of the biggest roles in determining value. Collectors use grading systems to judge coins based on wear, damage, strike quality, and appearance. A coin with sharp details and original shine can be worth much more than the same coin with scratches and heavy wear. Professional grading companies such as PCGS and NGC examine coins and assign numerical grades. A high-grade 1980 Lincoln cent with a rare error can become highly desirable among collectors. The history of the Lincoln cent itself is fascinating. Before 1909, U.S. coins featured symbols such as Lady Liberty rather than actual presidents. The decision to place Abraham Lincoln on the cent changed American coin design forever. The idea came from President Theodore Roosevelt, who wanted American coins to have more artistic quality. Sculptor Victor David Brenner created the Lincoln portrait design, which became one of the most famous coin designs in the world. The Lincoln cent has survived wars, economic changes, technological improvements, and changes in metal prices. The 1980 penny represents a period when copper cents were still being produced before the major composition change of 1982. For collectors today, the 1980 Lincoln cent is a reminder of American manufacturing history. While most examples are common, unusual error versions create excitement because they show imperfections in a process designed for extreme accuracy. A coin that was supposed to be identical to millions of others can become unique because of one small mistake. That is the magic of error coin collecting. The search for valuable coins is not only about money. It is about history, discovery, and the connection between people and objects from the past. A small penny can travel through generations and become a piece of a family's story. The 1980 Lincoln Penny may not be a $173 million coin, but a genuine rare error specimen can still be an exciting discovery. The real value comes from authenticity, rarity, condition, and collector interest. The world of 1980 Lincoln cent errors becomes even more fascinating when collectors begin examining the tiny details that separate an ordinary penny from a special discovery. At first glance, thousands of 1980 pennies may appear identical, but under magnification, small differences can reveal unusual characteristics created during the minting process. The United States Mint produces billions of coins every year, and the process requires thousands of precise steps. Metal sheets are created, blank discs called planchets are cut, coins are struck with specially prepared dies, and every step must work perfectly. However, because humans and machines are involved, mistakes occasionally happen. These mistakes create the coins that collectors call error coins. A 1980 Lincoln cent error can be valuable because it represents something different from the millions of normal coins produced that year. Collectors often search for coins that are rare, dramatic, and easy to identify. The more unusual the error, the more attention it receives from the collecting community. One of the most famous types of coin errors is the doubled die. Many beginners believe any doubling on a coin makes it extremely valuable, but experienced collectors know that true doubled dies are much rarer. The difference between a valuable doubled die and ordinary damage can be extremely small. During the creation of a coin die, the design is transferred onto the die that will strike thousands or millions of coins. If the design is accidentally impressed more than once at slightly different angles, a doubled image can appear. Every coin struck from that die can show the same doubling pattern. Collectors examine areas such as the date, lettering, and design details. On a Lincoln cent, the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the date are carefully studied. Strong, clear doubling with separation between images is usually more desirable than weak or unclear doubling. Another interesting category of 1980 penny errors is the off-center strike. This error happens when the blank coin is not properly centered during striking. Instead of the design appearing perfectly in the middle, part of the design may be missing or shifted toward one side. The value of an off-center 1980 penny depends on several factors. A coin that is only slightly off-center may have a small premium. A dramatic example where 25%, 50%, or more of the design is missing can become much more attractive to collectors. Collectors also prefer off-center coins where important information remains visible. For example, if the date and mint mark are still present, the coin is easier to identify and usually more desirable. Another possible error is a wrong planchet error. This occurs when a coin is struck on a metal blank intended for another denomination or another type of coin. These errors are extremely unusual because the wrong metal blank must enter the production line. A 1980 Lincoln cent struck on an incorrect planchet would be a very interesting discovery. The weight, color, and size of the coin would help determine whether it was struck on the wrong material. Professional authentication would be necessary because altered coins can sometimes be created to look unusual. Weight is one of the first things collectors check when examining a suspicious coin. A normal 1980 Lincoln cent weighs approximately 3.11 grams. If a coin has a significantly different weight, collectors investigate further. However, weight differences alone do not automatically mean a coin is valuable. A coin may lose weight because of damage, corrosion, cleaning, or environmental effects. Experts look at the complete condition of the coin before determining whether it is a genuine mint error. Another fascinating error category is the die cap error. This happens when a coin sticks to the die during striking and continues to strike additional coins. Over time, the coin can become shaped like a bottle cap. These dramatic errors are highly collectible. There are also missing design errors caused by filled dies. During the minting process, grease and debris can sometimes fill parts of the die. When the coin is struck, certain details may disappear. For example, A grease-filled die may cause weak letters or missing numbers. While some filled die errors are common, examples with unusual missing details can attract collectors. The condition of a 1980 Lincoln cent is another major factor affecting its value. Coins are graded on a scale from heavily worn examples to perfect condition specimens. The highest grades are extremely difficult to achieve because even tiny marks can lower a coin's grade. A coin that was stored carefully after production may maintain its original mint shine. These coins are called uncirculated examples. Collectors often look for coins with strong details, bright surfaces, and minimal imperfections. Proof versions of the 1980 Lincoln cent are another area of interest. Proof coins were specially made for collectors and were produced with extra care. They usually have sharper details and mirror-like surfaces. San Francisco produced proof Lincoln cents during this era. These coins were not intended for everyday circulation and were included in special collector sets. A 1980 South Proof Lincoln center in excellent condition can be worth more than a regular circulated penny. If a proof coin also contains a rare error, collector interest can increase significantly. Many people wonder how much a 1980 error penny is actually worth. The answer depends completely on the specific coin. A normal circulated 1980 Lincoln cent may only be worth its face value or slightly more. An uncirculated example may bring a higher price. A certified rare error coin can potentially reach hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on rarity. The biggest mistake new collectors make is believing every unusual-looking penny is worth a fortune. The internet is filled with exaggerated claims about ordinary coins being worth millions. Professional collectors rely on auction records, grading reports, and expert opinions rather than viral posts. A coin advertised online for an unbelievable price does not mean someone actually paid that amount. The true market value comes from completed sales between buyers and sellers. The famous million-dollar coins in American history are usually extremely rare examples with unique historical importance. Coins such as early American rarities, famous mint errors, or extremely rare specimens have reached very high prices because only a few exist. A 1980 Lincoln penny does not belong in that category unless an extraordinary discovery proves otherwise. The excitement comes from finding a genuine unusual coin, not from unrealistic internet claims. Coin authentication is extremely important when dealing with valuable errors. Professional organizations examine coins using specialized equipment and compare them with known examples. A certified coin receives a grade and identification number that helps collectors trust the authenticity. This process protects buyers and sellers from counterfeit or altered coins. Collectors who search for 1980 pennies often use magnifying glasses, digital microscopes, scales, and coin references. They examine thousands of ordinary coins hoping to find one special example. The thrill of coin hunting comes from patience. A person may search through hundreds of pennies before finding a coin with an interesting characteristic. Every discovery creates a connection to the history behind the object. The 1980 Lincoln cent also represents an important moment before the copper shortage changed American coin production. In 1982, the United States Mint changed the composition of Lincoln cents from mostly copper to copper-plated zinc. Because 1980 cents contained valuable copper content compared with later pennies, some collectors save them. However, the copper value alone does not make ordinary 1980 cents extremely valuable. The true collector value comes from rarity, condition, and demand. A beautiful high-grade example or a verified mint error can attract serious attention. The design of the 1980 Lincoln cent also carries symbolic meaning. Abraham Lincoln's portrait represents leadership and unity. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse represents remembrance and national history. Millions of Americans have used this coin in everyday transactions. It has traveled through stores, banks, cash registers, and homes. Some coins have survived in nearly perfect condition because someone recognized their potential early. A hidden treasure does not always look valuable. Many famous coin discoveries began with someone noticing a small difference. A strange date, unusual shape, missing detail, or different color can lead to a valuable discovery. The 1980 Lincoln Penny teaches collectors an important lesson: never judge a coin only by its face value. Even a common coin can become interesting when it tells a unique story. For anyone searching through old collections, coin jars, or inherited coins, the best approach is careful examination. Learn the characteristics of genuine errors, understand realistic values, and avoid exaggerated claims. The 1980 Lincoln cent remains a popular coin because it combines history, design, and the possibility of discovery. While it is not a confirmed $173 million treasure, certain rare examples can still become exciting collectibles. The real treasure is the knowledge gained while searching. Every coin represents a moment in time, and every error tells the story of a manufacturing mistake that created something different from millions of others. The search for a valuable 1980 Lincoln penny becomes even more exciting when collectors move beyond basic errors and begin studying varieties, production differences, and the small details that can separate an ordinary coin from a collectible treasure. Every year, millions of Lincoln cents are produced, but not every coin leaves the mint exactly the same way. Small changes in dies, striking pressure, and production conditions can create differences that collectors carefully document. For someone searching through a collection of 1980 pennies, the first step is understanding that value does not come only from the year. A 1980 date alone does not make a coin rare. The true value comes from a combination of factors including mint mark, condition, error type, rarity, and collector demand. The 1980 Lincoln cent was produced at a time when the United States Mint was improving its manufacturing technology. Coins were produced in massive quantities, and the goal was consistency. However, even with advanced equipment, small imperfections could happen during production. Collectors often divide coin mistakes into three major categories: planchet errors, die errors, and striking errors. Planchet errors happen before the coin is struck. The planchet is the blank piece of metal that becomes a coin. If something is wrong with the metal blank before striking, the final coin can show unusual characteristics. One example is an improperly prepared planchet. The metal may have unusual coloring, thickness, or surface problems. Some planchet errors are rare because the problem must happen before the coin enters the press. Die errors happen during the creation or use of the coin die. The die is the tool that carries the design of the coin. Since one die can strike thousands of coins, a mistake on the die can affect many coins. A famous example of a die-related error is a doubled die. When collectors search 1980 Lincoln cents, they often look closely at the date and lettering to identify possible doubling. A genuine doubled die can show noticeable separation between letters or numbers. The doubling may appear as a second image slightly shifted from the original design. Professional collectors use magnification and comparison methods to determine whether doubling is genuine. Another interesting die error is a repunched mint mark. In earlier periods of U.S. coin production, mint marks were manually punched into dies, which created opportunities for mistakes. However, by 1980, mint mark production methods had changed, making traditional repunched mint marks less common compared with earlier decades. This does not mean collectors ignore mint marks. The location and appearance of the mint mark still help identify where the coin was made and whether it has unusual characteristics. The third major category is striking errors. These happen when the coin is being struck inside the press. A coin press uses enormous pressure to force the design from the dies onto the metal blank. If the blank is not positioned correctly, or if another mechanical issue occurs, the final coin can have an unusual appearance. One of the most popular striking errors is the double strike. A double-struck coin happens when the coin receives more than one strike from the dies. If the coin moves between strikes, parts of the design can appear duplicated or shifted. Double strikes are visually dramatic and often attract collectors because the mistake can be clearly seen without advanced equipment. Another possible error is a rotated die error. This occurs when the relationship between the front and back designs is different from normal. Collectors test this by holding the coin and rotating it to compare the alignment of both sides. Small rotation differences may not be highly valuable, but major rotations can attract attention. A missing letter or missing number error can also occur when parts of the design are not fully transferred to the coin. These errors may happen because of filled dies, worn dies, or other minting conditions. However, collectors must be careful because damaged coins can sometimes look like mint errors. Scratches, polishing, chemical damage, and environmental effects can create appearances that are not caused by the mint. One of the most important skills in coin collecting is learning the difference between a true error and post-mint damage. For example, a person may find a penny with an unusual shape and believe it is a rare error. But if the coin was damaged after leaving the mint, it usually has little additional value. Professional collectors study the surface, metal flow, and characteristics of the coin to determine its origin. The internet has increased interest in error coins because pictures and videos of unusual coins can quickly spread around the world. Many people discover coin collecting after seeing stories about rare pennies. However, online claims can sometimes create unrealistic expectations. Headlines suggesting that common coins are worth millions often attract attention but are not supported by real market evidence. Serious collectors focus on verified information. Auction results, professional grading reports, and expert opinions provide a more accurate understanding of value. A 1980 Lincoln cent with a dramatic and authenticated error can become a valuable collectible. For example, a major off-center strike, a significant wrong planchet error, or another rare mint mistake could attract serious collector interest. The location of the mint mark can also affect interest. Philadelphia produced many 1980 cents without a mint mark. Denver produced cents with a D mint mark. San Francisco produced proof cents with an S mint mark. Each facility had its own production characteristics, and collectors enjoy studying differences between coins from different mints. The Philadelphia Mint has a long history dating back to the early days of the United States. It has produced many famous American coins throughout history. The Denver Mint also has an important role in U.S. coin production. Coins from Denver often carry the D mint mark and are collected as part of complete coin sets. The San Francisco Mint is especially famous among collectors because of its proof coins. Proof coins are made with special preparation, including polished dies and specially treated planchets. A 1980 South-proof Lincoln Center may have a beautiful mirror-like appearance. Collectors often place these coins in protective holders to preserve their condition. Coin preservation is another important part of collecting. A valuable coin can lose value if it is cleaned incorrectly. Many beginners make the mistake of trying to make old coins look shiny. Cleaning a coin can damage its original surface and reduce collector interest. Professional collectors usually prefer coins with original surfaces, even if they show natural age. Storage is also important. Coins should be protected from moisture, chemicals, and unnecessary handling. The oils from human fingers can affect a coin's surface over long periods. Collectors often use protective holders, albums, and storage systems designed specifically for coins. The 1980 Lincoln cent is especially interesting because it represents the final years of the traditional copper composition era. Copper coins have a different appearance and feel compared with modern zinc cents. When examining a 1980 penny, collectors often look at the color. Copper cents can develop different shades over time, including bright red, reddish-brown, and brown tones. A coin with original bright red color can be more valuable than a heavily toned or circulated example, especially in high grades. Professional grading companies evaluate coins based on several factors. The Sheldon grading scale ranges from 1 to 70, with higher numbers representing better condition. An uncirculated coin may receive grades in the mint state range. Exceptional examples can receive very high grades when they have strong strikes and beautiful surfaces. A high-grade common coin may still have limited value, but a high-grade rare error can become extremely desirable. Collectors also consider population reports. These reports show how many coins of a certain grade have been certified. If only a few examples exist in very high grades, collectors may compete strongly to obtain them. The market for coins changes over time. Demand can increase when more collectors become interested in a specific series or when a famous discovery receives attention. The value of a 1980 Lincoln penny is not fixed forever. It depends on the collecting community, economic conditions, and the rarity of the individual coin. Some collectors specialize only in Lincoln cents. Others collect all U.S. coins. Error specialists focus specifically on unusual manufacturing mistakes. The community of coin collectors is worldwide. People share discoveries, research varieties, attend coin shows, and study auction results. A person who finds an unusual 1980 penny should document it carefully. Taking clear photographs, measuring weight, and examining both sides of the coin can help determine whether it deserves professional evaluation. Never assume a coin is valuable simply because someone online claims it is. Always compare information with trusted numismatic sources. The journey of a 1980 Lincoln cent from the mint to a collector's hands is part of its story. A coin produced decades ago may have traveled through countless places before becoming a collectible. That is what makes coin collecting fascinating. A small piece of metal can connect people with history, technology, and the everyday lives of previous generations. The 1980 Lincoln penny may not be the legendary $173 million treasure that some internet stories claim, but it remains an important coin in American history. Its design, copper composition, and possible errors make it a fascinating subject for collectors. For treasure hunters, the search continues. Hidden among ordinary coins, there is always the possibility of finding something unusual. The excitement is not only about money, it is about discovery. The value of a 1980 Lincoln penny is one of the most interesting topics for collectors because it shows the difference between an ordinary coin and a truly special discovery. Many people hear stories about rare pennies selling for huge amounts of money and immediately begin searching through old coin jars, collections, and pocket change. While most 1980 pennies are common, some examples with rare characteristics can become valuable collectibles. Understanding the real market value of a 1980 Lincoln cent requires looking at several important factors. The date alone is not enough. Collectors consider the mint mark, condition, color, rarity, error type, certification, and demand among buyers. A regular circulated 1980 Lincoln penny without any special characteristics usually has a value close to its face value. Because millions of these coins were produced, they are not considered rare in normal condition. A person finding one in everyday change should not expect it to automatically be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. However, coins in excellent condition can attract collectors. A 1980 Lincoln cent that has never been heavily circulated and still maintains its original mint appearance may be worth more than a worn example. The grading system plays a major role in determining value. Professional graders examine the coin carefully and assign a numerical grade based on its condition. A heavily worn coin may receive a low grade, while a coin with sharp details and original luster may receive a much higher grade. The difference between grades can sometimes create a large difference in market value. For example, two 1980 pennies may look similar to an inexperienced collector, but one may have scratches, weak details, and circulation damage while the other may have strong design features and beautiful original surfaces. Collectors are willing to pay more for coins that are attractive, rare, and preserved in excellent condition. The color of copper Lincoln cents is also important. Copper coins naturally change appearance over time. Collectors generally describe Lincoln cent colors as red, red-brown, and brown. A bright red 1980 Lincoln cent shows that the original copper color has been preserved. These coins are often more desirable than darker examples, especially when they have high grades. A red-brown coin has a mixture of original copper color and natural toning. Brown coins have lost most of their original red appearance due to oxidation and age. While color alone does not determine value, it can influence collector interest. The 1980 Lincoln cent from the Denver Mint is another popular collectible. Millions were produced, but high-grade examples can still attract collectors who are building complete Lincoln cent collections. Collectors often try to complete sets that include every year and mint mark combination. Even common coins become important when someone is attempting to create a complete collection. The 1980 South Proof Lincoln Center has a different collecting audience. Proof coins were created specifically for collectors, not general circulation. Proof coins usually have sharper details because they were struck using specially prepared dies and planchets. The fields of the coin often have a mirror-like appearance, while the raised design elements appear frosted. A high-quality 1980 South Proof Center can be an attractive addition to a collection. If a proof coin has an unusual error, its value and interest can increase. One of the most exciting possibilities for a 1980 Lincoln cent is a major mint error. Error coins are valuable because they are mistakes created during the official manufacturing process. A dramatic off-center strike is one example. A coin where a large portion of the design is missing because the blank was incorrectly positioned can attract collectors. The value of an off-center 1980 penny depends on how much of the design is missing and whether important details remain visible. A coin that shows the full date and mint mark is usually more desirable because collectors can easily identify it. Another collectible error is a broad strike. This occurs when the coin is struck without the normal collar that controls its shape. The result is a coin that spreads outward and may have a larger diameter than normal. Because the mistake is visible, broad strikes are popular among error collectors. Clipped planchet errors are also collected. These coins have a missing curved or straight section caused during the cutting of the metal sheet. Collectors examine the shape of the clip to determine whether it is a genuine mint error. Genuine clips usually show specific characteristics caused by the manufacturing process. A major error that attracts attention is a wrong planchet strike. This occurs when a coin is accidentally struck on metal intended for another denomination. These mistakes are extremely rare because the wrong blank must enter the production system and survive quality control. If a genuine 1980 wrong planchet Lincoln cent were discovered, it could become a highly desirable piece depending on the circumstances. Another area collectors study is die varieties. A die variety is a difference created during the creation of the die rather than an accidental striking mistake. Some varieties are extremely subtle and require magnification to identify. Specialists spend years studying tiny details to discover and document these differences. The value of a variety depends on how many examples are known and how much interest exists among collectors. Professional coin organizations and researchers maintain databases of known varieties and errors. These references help collectors identify unusual coins. Authentication is one of the most important steps before selling a potentially valuable coin. The coin market has many examples of altered or fake coins. Some people try to create artificial errors by damaging coins after production. For example, a person may cut, bend, scratch, or modify a coin to make it appear unusual. Experienced collectors know the difference between a genuine mint error and damage created later. Professional grading companies use advanced techniques to examine coins. They check the surfaces, design details, weight, measurements, and characteristics of the error. A certified coin often receives more attention from buyers because the authenticity has been confirmed. Collectors should be careful when seeing online advertisements claiming that a common 1980 penny is worth millions of dollars. Many viral coin stories use exaggerated prices to attract attention. A seller may list a coin for an extremely high amount, but that does not mean anyone has purchased it. The true market value comes from completed sales, not unrealistic asking prices. The famous record-setting coin sales in American history involve extremely rare coins with unique backgrounds. These coins often have very low populations, historical importance, or extraordinary mistakes. A common 1980 penny, even with some unusual features, does not automatically reach those levels. However, this does not mean searching for 1980 pennies is pointless. Coin collecting is exciting because discoveries can happen. Many collectors have found valuable coins in unexpected places. Old collections, inherited coin boxes, and forgotten jars can contain interesting pieces. The best coin hunters develop knowledge before searching. They learn what genuine errors look like, how coins are made, and how values are determined. A magnifying glass is one of the most useful tools for examining Lincoln cents. Tiny details that cannot be seen with the naked eye may reveal something important. A digital scale is another useful tool. Since genuine errors may involve unusual planchets or metal differences, weight can provide valuable information. However, collectors should remember that tools only provide clues. Professional evaluation is needed for expensive coins. The condition of storage also affects a coin's future value. A beautiful coin can lose value if it is exposed to moisture, chemicals, or improper handling. Collectors usually avoid touching the surface of valuable coins with bare fingers. Natural oils can leave marks that affect appearance. Coins should be stored in holders made for long-term preservation. The story behind a coin often adds to its appeal. A 1980 Lincoln cent may have been carried by someone decades ago, used in a purchase, saved by a collector, or passed through generations. Every coin has a journey. For a YouTube audience interested in treasure hunting, the 1980 Lincoln penny represents an exciting lesson. Not every old coin is a fortune, but every coin has the possibility of discovery. The real treasure is learning how to identify something special among ordinary objects. A collector who understands design, errors, grading, and history has a much better chance of finding valuable coins. The 1980 Lincoln cent remains a fascinating piece of American coinage. Its copper composition, Lincoln memorial design, and potential errors make it a favorite among beginners and experienced collectors. While there is no verified $173 million sale connected to a 1980 Lincoln penny, the coin still holds a special place in the collecting world. A genuine rare error, a perfect high-grade example, or an unusual discovery could still make a 1980 penny a valuable collectible. The journey of the 1980 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of why coin collecting remains one of the most fascinating hobbies in the world. A small 1-cent piece of copper may appear ordinary, but when collectors look deeper, they discover a story filled with American history, manufacturing technology, artistic design, and the possibility of finding something unusual. For anyone searching for a valuable 1980 Lincoln cent, the first step is learning how to examine the coin correctly. Many people look only at the date and assume that an old coin must be valuable. Experienced collectors know that the smallest details can make the biggest difference. The first thing to check is the overall condition of the coin. Hold the penny under good lighting and examine both sides carefully. Look for sharp details, original shine, unusual marks, and any characteristics that appear different from normal examples. The front side of the coin, known as the obverse, contains important areas to inspect. Look closely at Abraham Lincoln's portrait, the date, the word liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust." Collectors often use magnification because some errors are extremely small. A doubled letter, unusual shape, or extra design detail may not be visible without a proper magnifying glass or microscope. The reverse side should also be carefully examined. The Lincoln memorial design contains many details, including the columns of the building, lettering, and inscriptions. A genuine error can appear on either side of the coin. Some mistakes affect the portrait side, while others affect the memorial side. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is cleaning their coins. Many people think making an old penny shiny will increase its value. In reality, cleaning can damage the original surface and reduce collector interest. Professional collectors usually prefer coins in their natural condition. A coin with original surfaces and natural aging can be more valuable than a coin that has been polished or chemically treated. Another common mistake is believing every unusual coin is rare. A damaged coin can look strange but have little value. For example, a penny that has been scratched, bent, heated, or altered after leaving the mint is not considered a true mint error. A real mint error must have happened during the official production process at the United States Mint. Collectors study the flow of metal, the design details, and the characteristics of the mistake to determine whether it is genuine. If someone discovers a possible valuable 1980 Lincoln penny, they should avoid making changes to it. Do not clean it, do not scratch it, and do not attempt repairs. The best approach is to carefully store the coin and seek an expert opinion. Professional grading companies examine coins and provide authentication services. A certified coin can be easier to sell because buyers have confidence that the coin is genuine. The market value of a 1980 Lincoln penny can vary greatly. A normal circulated 1980 Lincoln cent is usually worth around its face value or slightly more. An uncirculated example with excellent condition may bring a higher price. A high-grade certified coin with beautiful original color may attract collectors. A genuine major mint error can be worth significantly more depending on rarity and demand. A dramatic off-center strike, major double die, wrong planchet error, or unusual striking mistake can become a valuable collectible. However, the value is always determined by the marketplace. A coin is worth what collectors are willing to pay based on rarity, condition, and interest. The idea of a 1980 penny being worth $173 million has become a popular internet story, but there is no verified auction record or official evidence supporting that amount. The reality of coin collecting is even more interesting because true discoveries do not need exaggerated stories. A genuine rare error with a real history can still be exciting and valuable. The world of coins is filled with examples of ordinary objects becoming extraordinary. Many famous collections began with someone noticing a small difference that others ignored. A tiny mistake during production can create a coin that is different from millions of others. That difference is what collectors search for. The 1980 Lincoln cent represents an important chapter in American coin history. It was produced during the final years when Lincoln cents were made with a traditional copper composition before the change to copper-plated zinc coins in 1982. This copper composition gives the coin a unique feel and appearance that many collectors appreciate. The design itself also carries deep meaning. Abraham Lincoln remains one of America's most recognized presidents. His image on the penny represents unity, leadership, and the preservation of the nation. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse honors his legacy and connects the coin to one of America's most important historical figures. Every time someone holds a 1980 penny, they are holding a small piece of American history. The coin may have passed through countless hands, traveled through different places, and experienced decades of everyday life before reaching a collector. That journey is part of the excitement. For treasure hunters, searching through old coins is about more than money. It is about curiosity, patience, and discovery. A person looking through a jar of pennies may not find $1 million treasure, but they may discover something unique, something with history, or something that begins a lifelong passion for collecting. The most successful collectors are not those who only chase expensive coins. They are the people who understand the story behind each piece. They learn the designs, study the errors, research the history, and appreciate the craftsmanship involved in creating every coin. The 1980 Lincoln penny teaches collectors an important lesson: value is not always obvious at first glance. A coin that looks ordinary may contain a hidden characteristic that makes it special. But true knowledge is the key. Before believing claims of unbelievable values, always research, compare auction results, and consult trusted experts. The world of coin collecting rewards those who take time to learn. So if you have a 1980 Lincoln cent sitting in an old collection, a drawer, or a forgotten jar, take another look. Examine the details. Check the mint mark. Study the condition. Look for unusual characteristics. You may not find a $173 million treasure, but you may discover a fascinating piece of history. The 1980 Lincoln Penny is more than 1 cent. It is a symbol of American history, a product of advanced manufacturing, a collectible item, and a reminder that even small things can have great stories. For collectors around the world, the hunt never ends. Every coin has a story. Every error has a reason. Every discovery begins with someone willing to look closer. And somewhere, among millions of ordinary coins, there may still be a rare piece waiting to be found. This is the true excitement of coin collecting. Not just the possibility of money. Not just the dream of finding treasure. But the adventure of discovering history hidden in your hands. Thank you for watching Coin Luster. Keep searching, keep learning, and always check your coins carefully because the next great discovery could be sitting right in front of you.